Now, please help me welcome Alex Langer, President, CEO of LIFFF Power Limited. LIFFF Power is a lithium exploration development company focused on advancing its portfolio of hard rock lithium projects in Canada. Welcome, Alex.
Perfect. All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Alex Langer, and I am president of LIFFF Power. I quickly wanted to chat on Jennifer's presentation. I was recently just in Korea and Hong Kong and Japan, meeting with various battery manufacturers, OEMs, car manufacturers, things like that. And the importance of the IRA scheme that the US is putting together now is really going to change the way we're looking at battery metals moving forward. Not just lithium, nickel, cobalt, things like that. There is going to be a price divergence of, IRA compliant lithium and non-IRA compliant lithium. So that's coming. So over the next year and a half, we're going to see what that scheme looks like. But the Koreans and the Japanese are well ahead of it. So having secure supply of North American product, which isn't controlled by the Chinese, is going to be quite important. If we look at some of the largest lithium mines in the world, such as Greenbushes, which is about 29% owned by Tianqi Lithium, SQM, one of the largest producers of lithium, that's owned by 25% by the Chinese as well. So there's going to be a lot of product out there that won't be fungible in the new IRA compliance system. And with that, LIFFF Power, we are an exploration and development company focused on large-scale hard rock lithium assets within Canada. We do have three deposits that we're working on right now. Our flagship project is the Yellowknife Lithium project, where we've recently completed over 50,000 meters of drilling, and we will be coming out with a maiden NI 43-101 resource report sometime this summer. Our Kali project, which is located also in Northwest Territories, that is a drill-ready project. And finally, our Quebec projects, where we are the largest owner of land. We have 2,300 square kilometers in the St. James, Pontac, and Moyenne areas. Forward-looking statements, I've already made a few, and I will continue to make many more. Please feel free to review this on our website at your convenience. So LIFFF Power, why invest? It's really the resource potential. Our flagship project, the Yellowknife Lithium project, we expect it to be one of the largest in North America. We spent well over $40 million in drilling. That's 50,000 meters in the last 12 months, which is huge. It's one of the largest programs in Canada, let alone lithium, in terms of all different commodities. So we have that size and scale that's going to be needed. Moving forward, I expect another 10 to 20 lithium mines will come online throughout the world, and that's probably enough. Lithium is fairly abundant, but having secure supply that's mineable at a low rate is going to be important, and this has the potential to be one of those projects. Infrastructure is also important. Again, if you're in the middle of nowhere, transportation costs can be very, very expensive. Luckily for us, we're just about 20 to 40 kilometers outside of Yellowknife, where there's all-access roads, and then not too far away from railhead, which is really important if you're going to be shipping concentrate. We do have an expedited strategy. As I mentioned, we picked up this project about 2 years ago, and we've already completed 50,000 meters of drilling, and we're going to continue to push that project forward. So right now at Yellowknife, we are working towards environmental baseline studies, community engagement, things like that. When you have these large-scale projects, you want to be de-risking them all the way. We've already proven out the potential in terms of the size of the resource. It could be much larger. Metallurgical work is really important, so we're doing a bunch of that, but we're also doing community engagement and permitting and baseline, things like that. With that is ESG. Obviously, it's really important, especially in Canada and throughout the world. So we have partnered quite closely with the Indigenous group. We're literally in the backyard, so it's kind of a first time scenario where a company of our stage really did an exploration agreement with the Indigenous group so early before we even started drilling. So it really is a partnership, which is great. I think that's really going to benefit us when we do go to permit this mine, hopefully in the future. Our team is okay. We have a bit of M&A transaction history, as well as discovery history, which is quite important, and timing. As I mentioned, we should be quick. Another 10 to 20 lithium mines. If you're not one of the first ones, you could be left behind. With lithium pricing, it will come back up. We're seeing it right now. It's obviously towards the bottom, but it's not sustainable at these prices. I was part of the company before, and we saw multiple cycles. So you can time these right. It's really profitable. The idea is to get into production as soon as possible, pay off your mine, and then you can generate revenues in perpetuity as long as that mine life is. So again, quickly on our projects, the Yellowknife Lithium project is our flagship. We have 13 spodumene pegmatites with 100% exposure at surface. Obviously, it's quite easy to see the potential there. Infrastructure is important, and we've just completed 50,000 meters of drilling. Maiden resource, again, is due this summer. Our Cali project, it's a dikesmoor, about 1.5 to 1 kilometer in length. We've done a large grab samples program last summer where we indicated 124 grab samples of over 1% lithium. It's road access within 6 kilometers, and it is fully permitted to drill. So we would like to drill that project in the near future. And then our Quebec projects, again, we are the largest land position within the St. James Bay region, over 2,300 square kilometers. We have large spodumene in-till anomalies defined at Pontax and very similar in magnitude to the Whabouchi project, which we'll get into in a little bit. So people, obviously people are really important when you're looking at any of these projects. Francis McDonald, everything we're doing technically is led by him. Francis is an exploration geologist. He spent the majority of his career at Newmont. He was in charge of, I guess, large-scale exploration, mainly in Africa and in northern Canada. He's taken that expertise that he learned at Newmont and brought it over to LIFFF, and that's where we're able to really work down these very, very large packages into drill-ready targets, and we've been quite successful so far. I myself, I'm not technical. I come from a capital markets background. I started my career at Canaccord. I left there in 2009, and since then I've been working, helping companies, finding projects, raising capital, and finding management teams. The last 7-8 years of my life, I've been involved with lithium. I was part of a company called Millennial Lithium, where we had a brine project in Argentina. We started that with a drill hole in the ground and eventually sold that to Lithium Americas for $490 million just over 2.5 years ago. So got very comfortable with lithium, understanding the cycles and what that looks like and the future moving forward. One thing I was looking for is these hard rock assets. They're very, very important, especially in the longer term future of lithium and the world's need. Infrastructure is key. Quickly touch on Yellowknife. Yellowknife is the territorial capital. Yellowknife is the territorial capital of the Northwest Territories. There's about 20,000 people. 30% of the economy in Yellowknife is from mineral resources. The Caddy Mine, the Diavik, Gaucho, those are all actually slated to shut down over the next 3 to 5 years. So I think we're in a position to really fulfill that revenue need that the territories are going to have as these mines come offline. Again, location is really important. You can drive to these projects through the Ingram Trail, and eventually, in terms of transportation, would be able to either barge it across Great Slave Lake all the way to Hay River, where there's a railhead. And once you're at railhead, the economics of these projects become quite attractive. Again, or in the wintertime, we can drive the Yellowknife Highway, which is again a paved highway. So again, infrastructure is very, very important, and that's what this project has. Zooming out a little bit, this is also one of the advantages of the Yellowknife project, is it's really the only large spodumene project located in Western North America. So right now, there's really no proper refineries in North America. They're coming, and hopefully they do work, but for the time being, anything would have to be shipped out to Asia. So China, Korea, there's processing centers there. So we're actually very, very close to the West Coast. And again, as I mentioned earlier, once you're on rail, such as Hay River, you can go out through Prince Rupert or Vancouver relatively economically. Some of the projects in Quebec, they're a bit further away from railhead. So we're going to see what happens with that. There will be infrastructure coming, but for the time being, we really have the best located project to supply any material, raw material, over to the Asian markets. I think in the future, I do see a processing center maybe being built in Edmonton. Edmonton, there's a large chemical manufacturing hub. There's energy. There's a strong workforce. So it could be an area that a hydroxide plant or a carbonate plant could be built, would be in Edmonton. And again, our project and probably the Cali project could suffice to feed a scenario like that. ESG highlights, I touched on this earlier, obviously really, really important. We're literally in the backyards of the Indigenous community, so we signed a partnership before we did any type of exploration. They've been amazing. As you can see here, we've also lived up to what we said we were going to do. Indigenous employment is about 28%, and local northern employment is about 26%. What does that mean? It's a direct correlation of over $14 million into the local economy, both Indigenous and within the northern region. This is what they look like. So it's relatively straightforward. That's Google Maps. You can see these pegmatites sticking out of the earth. There's over 10 kilometers of these things. We've drilled about 8 of the 13 total pegmatites. Right there on the right is one of the pegmatites. Those are trees, and that's a drill rig. So it's relatively straightforward. Just point, shoot, and drill. And that's what we've done. So we've done over 50,000 meters of drilling to date. We've announced a majority of that. I think we have 1 or 2 more press releases to come out. But we will be taking all that information and coming out with our maiden NI 43-101 resource report later this summer. It's been very consistent all the way through. You can see the pink are grade thicknesses of 30 for lithium, and it's very, very consistent all the way through the majority of the pegmatites that we have drilled. We started to block model this. As you can see here, it's going to look pretty attractive for open pit mining. What's also quite interesting is our Echo project. You see how the pegmatites actually flatline, so kind of a latitudinal direction, which would make less pit design needs. You'd have less strip ratio in terms of mining a project like that. So block models are well underway, and again, the NI 43-101 is due sometime this summer. Also, what's very important is metallurgical testing. We noticed right away, yes, we have great amount of lithium. It's all at surface, relatively straightforward. But if the metallurgical work isn't able to be processed, you really can't mine it. So what we've done is we sent now 9 tons of rock from the 8 various pegmatites that we have drilled for processing. It looks like the majority of the lithium contained in that rock is hosted in spodumene, which is very amenable to either flotation or DMS recovery. So we're not quite sure what type of process we'll use. It could be just DMS, it could be flotation, or it could be a combination of both. So that'll come out in the feasibility study, which we'll be working towards once that resource comes out. This is a little comparison that we like to show. This is at scale, so obviously Sigma's in the green on the right, producing mine in Brazil, but geologically it's very, very similar to what we have in Yellowknife. They're both pegmatite districts with multiple dike systems feeding a global resource. So this is at scale. Now Sierra de Grado, Sigma has 109 million tons at 1.39% lithium. We actually have about 40% more surface exposure than they do. So this is a potential that we could build up to down the road. Pure benchmarking, right now our market cap is about 170 million. It fluctuates, especially with the price of lithium, but we are going to be coming out with that maiden resource very, very soon, and that's where we're going to get re-rated. So hopefully, we'll be somewhere in that range of these other companies. Obviously, they've done really, really well, some great projects, and we feel the Yellowknife Lithium project will be one of them. So quite quickly, you can see a re-rating towards Adina, and then if we can get even larger, towards Quevette, which is an amazing project, and then once you're in production, obviously, the sky's the limit, especially in a good lithium market. Quickly, I got about 3 minutes here. Our Cali project, it's also located in the Northwest Territories. Infrastructure here is also very, very good. We're about 50 kilometers away from the past-producing Cantong mine. So there's an airstrip, there's a camp, lots of things that we can use. This is fully permitted to drill as well, and we'd like to do that in the not-too-distant future. Again, a little bit of a correlation to another company, Latin Resources. Very, very similar geological showing that they have there. It's a pegmatite dike swarm, 1.2 kilometers by 1.5 kilometers. We've done a little bit of trench work. Majority has been sampling, and we've come up with multiple hits there. And again, we'd like to drill this relatively soon. Now into Quebec, pretty quickly. Quebec Greenfield, we're targeting lithium pegmatites, which are actually covered, undercover, glacial retreat, and has put up quite a bit of lithium anomalies at surface, very similar to how Corvette or Whabouchi or James Bay were discovered, using that type of methodology to push these projects forward. Zoom in a little bit, we have an incredible potential target at Pontax. As you can see here, those pink numbers is what you want. That's over 0.5% lithium, and that's all at surface. Now these are huge areas. That's over 50 kilometers in length. So what we've been working over the last 2 years is trying to build up these drill targets. We spent over $7 million in Quebec just building up these drill targets, getting ready for a hopefully potential drill campaign in the not too distant future. Again, zooming in a little bit further, we actually have the land right down from Whabouchi. Whabouchi is 46 million tons at 1.36% lithium. And if you look at those yellow till anomalies on the right, that's actually the trend, the anomaly that came from Whabouchi when the glaciers retreated. And what we've done is taken that information and then scoured the rest of our projects. So we have this area here to the south, which is not of interest, so we know what nothing looks like, but we know what something looks like. And if you look at the left, we have about 9 large targets over there that could potentially host a similar size project to Whabouchi. Even further, in our other area, we have about another 11 similar targets to what Wabuchi is. Very similar to what you see the CV project looks like, where you see these anomalies, and then underneath you would find large pegmatite districts all the way through. Also, we're a very good location. A lot of these projects run right through the Billy Diamond Highway. Timelines and catalysts, I got about 40 seconds here. Winter drill program, that's all done. The 50,000 meters is done. NI 43-101 maiden resource is due this summer. Environmental baseline work is ongoing. We've been doing that for the last few years. Very, very important. And then now in Quebec, we are working up these drill targets with the potential to drill this summer. Quickly, the share structure, really, really important. We just have under 43 million shares outstanding. We do have $7 million in the bank. Market cap's about 160 million. As you can see, our insider ownership is huge. Management and founders, we own over 55% of the company. We've invested a huge amount. We've raised about $70 million since we went public, and we spend the majority of that, obviously, in ground. We have some retail following. We do have some institutions that cover us. Canaccord, SCP, and Beacon, all their targets are about 1250 and above. And with that, I'll quickly run through. Again, resource estimate is due sometime this summer. Environmental work continues to go. Drill target definition in Quebec as well as Cali, and metallurgical testing is ongoing. And with that, I say thank you.